What's up, everybody? Oh my gosh, it's Wednesday. It's live stream Wednesday. Hopefully, my audio on? Yes, I think it's on. Okay. What's up? It is Wednesday, August 27th. It is our last live stream of August 2025. Missed one last week. Just kind of crazy stuff going on, but nothing really new. I'm still behind on processing the ServiceNow Zurich Store Release 1, I think it is, or 0. I guess it would be Store Release 0 because it's early access, and then Store Release 1 will be whenever they come out with it, which will probably be in the next like week or two. I don't know what the exact date is. And then there'll be Store Release 2, which is like in the fall, like in Q4. Which I was going through some apps today and I noticed that there was some stuff already being planned for Q4, and so the updates in the apps were, hey, we're getting ready for Q4. But if you hadn't seen this before, so August 5th, no, let me back up. July 31st is when the store release, massive release came out, right? When I got these 1,026 applications for that episode. I released the episode and excluded all the ServiceNow content. And this episode is about all the ServiceNow content. So let me see, how do I summarize what we have so far? If I go to my favorites and here, and we'll just search on the episode SSHV 2025-08-05, I believe it was. Yep. And then I want to filter, or I wanted to show just the ServiceNow stuff. We'll filter out all the other companies. So that brings us to 992. And then I'm going to group this by category, and we can see where we're kind of at. I'm not done yet. Still got over 500 to go. But there were 139 compatibility updates, 54 fixes, 3 ghosts, 42 applications that actually looked pretty interesting. We'll click on that in a second, see if there's anything since the last live stream that I've noted. 129 minor updates, 64 new releases. Those have not changed because I could detect the new releases pretty easily. And I've got 560 to go on the screening, and there is one actually release note fail. I couldn't believe it, from ServiceNow. I forget which app it was. It was something new. Finance operations workspace. And oh my goodness, the Jerry Wong has arrived. Jerry, you missed the live streams where I was eating your food. But it's a good segue because I have 2 left. 2 items left. Let's see. Oh, I get they're right there. Cadbury creme egg, or cream. There's no A in the cream, but there's an E over here. Cream. And then the shortbread cookies that are from Highlands in Scotland, a Highland specialty, which is kind of funny here because there's a lot of Highlands here where I live. Uh, uh, Jerry, I almost called you something else. Speaking of highlighting comments on the screen, I was testing everything before I went live, and there's a test trigger message so I can test the functionality, like I showed Jerry's comment on the screen. And the test one was funny as a joke. So I'm going to put it up there. When do doctors get angry? And this is for Justin, Jerry. You can tell him this joke. When they run out of patience. It's totally a dad joke. Let's see. Jerry says, I will have to catch up on don't catch up on the streams, Jerry. Well, if you can, go watch the streams where I tried the potato chips. God, that was so bad, Jerry. It was so bad. The potato chips were bad. That's the one you should watch. I think it's like 2 or 3 ago. He's been on vacation. You were in Thailand? Wow, that's quite. I've never been to Thailand. I've seen a lot of like film and like movies or food shows in Thailand, like where someone's like going to different restaurants in Thailand, and it looks really cool. It looks really hot and humid, but other than that, it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty neat. So I hope you had fun down in Thailand. That sounds like fun to me. Maybe not to everybody, but welcome back. So Jerry, I'll let you pick before I get started. Which one should I try on this live stream? Should I go for the shortbread, or should I go for the Cadbury cream eggs, since you're actually here? And anybody else wants to chime in too, that's fine. But just tell me which one I should try. I'm a little hungry, so it won't go to waste. And okay, now he's laughing. Yeah, if you're laughing about the chips, Jerry, it was bad. It was really bad. Like, I spit them out. It was that bad. Yes, I'd love to see pictures of of Thailand. Jerry's laughing uncontrollably. Now he's going to send me pictures. Okay. John says cream eggs for sure. All right, John. Thank you for the comment, John, on LinkedIn. I saw that yesterday. I'm kind of funny about LinkedIn. Um, it's I've got so many. This is not a brag, please. It's totally not a brag. But I got so many followers that I just have to get into LinkedIn and get out because I could just get stuck in there for hours, responding to everything and liking everything. Um, so okay, Jerry says cream egg too. Um, John Kelly says cream eggs all the time, much nicer. Okay, so it's cream eggs. It is. I want to highlight one of the things that I noticed about this the packaging, right? It's different than here in the States. Is look at the no goo, all no wait, all goo, no egg. Well, first of all, I'm really glad there's not gooey eggs in here. But what's the goo? It doesn't tell me what the goo is. It says all goo, no egg, allergen information. So I'm kind of nervous about the goo. But milk chocolate with a soft fondant center. Ingredients are milk, star. What's the star? The equivalent of 426 milliliters of fresh liquid milk in every 227 grams of milk chocolate. Okay. It might contain nuts and wheat, which I'm not allergic to either of those. So here we go. I'm going to open it up and get the comments off the screen. You're going to get a live reaction of Justin having a Cadbury cream egg bar for the first time. I don't even think I've had a Cadbury cream egg like they sell during Easter here in the States. I don't think I've had one of those. I'm trying to open this carefully. This is always the fun part, is actually getting it open. Okay, opened. I hope this isn't a lot of noise on the audio. Cadbury cream egg bar. I'm just going to try this one in piece. It's mostly milk chocolate. And then, okay, I think I've answered the question what the goo is. The goo tastes like caramel, which I'm not a big fan of caramel. I know I'm the weirdest person on earth. I also don't like Reese's Pieces or Reese's peanut butter cups. But this is actually pretty good. You should not do it on a live stream where you have to talk, though, because now my mouth's all sticky. Hold on a second. I got hot tea. That's too hot. Anyways, okay. Thank you, Jerry, for the Cadbury cream egg. You may see me eat this other piece at some time during the live stream. So now I'm down to one snack left from Jerry. Thank you, Jerry, so much. Jerry brought those to me all the way from the UK to Las Vegas, Nevada, in the US. I'm just going to put this over here. And I really appreciate that, Jerry. It was a very nice thing to do. Next time, leave the chips. I don't know who eats those chips. Okay, update from John Kelly. It's toffee. Okay. Toffee's like caramel, right? Yeah, good thing I have tea. Well, it's not black tea. It's what is this? Orange tea, orange herbal tea, but it still tastes good. Forgot it was still hot. Jerry says you need this one. Well, some people say I talk too fast. So maybe I don't need sugar and caffeine and all that, but who knows? Again, thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it. That was fun. So let's get to it. So there's a summary of what we've done so far. Oh, I promised I was going to look at the highlights. So let's look at the highlights. Last episode or last live stream when we went through this, I got to like the D's. So I know anything after the D's that I've highlighted is probably, well, including the D's. So let's see, was there something interesting in here? Okay, Employee Center had some big updates that you may be interested in. I put it in the highlights. Let's take a look at it real quick. Improved mega menu performance and resilience during high traffic events. Removed content, enhanced the request experience, and then that whole browser extension, which I have a failed live stream on. Hey, Justin, good to see you. Good to hear from you. Hope everything's going good with you're probably back in school at this point, if you took a summer holiday. Did you go to Thailand with your dad? So yeah, hey, Justin, thanks for watching. Appreciate you. So that's the Employee Center stuff that I thought was interesting. Oh, Enterprise Architecture Workspace. I've had 2 implementations for EA, And so let's see, what were the highlights on this one? Oh, that's right. So new filters, AI portfolio has been added. Now you can associate product capabilities with business applications and TRM products. You can associate TRM products with business applications, and then adding a label description and target date details to an architectural artifact version. And then the color palette of the bubbles in the bubble chart view have changed. I don't really tell what they've changed, but this is interesting because the color palette is definable. Like when you go set up those dimensions in the bubble chart, you can define the colors. But anyways, I'm getting lost in the weeds. Oh, this was interesting. Field service contractor for mobile got this new task dependency workflow thing. And so I highlighted that. They've introduced task dependency validations in the contractor mobile app when an agent performs the start work action. And you can see the kind of the rest there. So I highlighted that since we've talked last. And the field service virtual agent conversations is the same thing. Financial services core or financials core, these two were pretty much, I think, the same update, but I put them both as a highlight. What would I highlight in here? Oh, it's just a bunch of stuff. So they introduced a bunch of new features and then a ton of fixes. And I was like, okay, if you're using the financials application, then you're probably interested in that particular update. And I got to FSM configurable workspace. I think these two are the same two, FSM configurable dispatcher workspace and FSM configurable workspace. And the version information here was performance improvements, extensibility for filters and resource types, usability improvements to workflows and user interactions in the dispatcher workspace. There are calendar updates, smart assessment I saw that can be now read access or view only access in the workspace. Tech debt, focusing on modernizing and cleaning up legacy components in the dispatcher workspace, like replacing a date time picker with the NDS component for consistency or fixing ACLs, and the manager workforce page enhancement. So a lot went into FSM workspace, both the FSM CSM configurable workspace and the FSM configurable dispatcher workspace. I think I said CSM, ignore CSM, just FSM. Okay, so that's what's been happening since the last live stream, just to catch you up. And now we'll just dive right back into the boring part. So everybody's welcome to leave. This is just something that has to be done. And rather than not have a live stream or have a live stream that's takes me work to prepare for the live stream, I was like, well, let me get this done. And I just use the live stream to get it done. So I've got 560 apps to go. And we'll just start going through these. Google Chat Spoke was updated as part of the release, and they fixed the AI agents renaming and output strategy. Let's just make sure that there actually was a change, and it was. So that's a fix for Google Chat Spoke. Probably going to be the same for the Google Doc Spoke, but we'll take a look just to be certain. Yep, fixed AI agents. So that was a fix. Gov Notify Spoke. What is Gov Notify? Version summary, fixed gov same agent thing they fixed there. And I'll just check different version to make sure. Yes. Grants management playbook. Never seen this before. The fun thing about doing this is I see apps that I just never knew existed. All right. So on this one, let's just make sure these are valid release notes for Zurich 1.02. Yep. So it did change. What was that? Okay, hold on. Yokohama 1.1.3 on July 31st. Is the same as 1.2.0. Okay. Yeah, I feel like that's a release notes fail. 1.1. No, it's the same date. Okay, so we're good. Reviewer service portal, a dedicated interface for reviewers to score track and manage apps. Grants management portal results tab. Applicants now view and download decision letters and merit summaries and accept or decline awards directly in the portal. Playbooks, new phases added and new activities and setup playbook. All right, we're going to call this one a highlight. Grants management playbook. Public service sector digital services grants management solution enables government agencies simplify and streamline grant program setup management application. Well, I hope that's still going on. It seems like all the grants have gone away. At least that's what I'm hearing. Okay, so that's a highlight, and then we're going to get into the GRC. So if you're a fan of GRC, you're going to get the Zurich update right now. GRC personal data rights, fixed issues related to access permissions, and corrected spelling issues across the product. That's hilarious. So that's a minor update. What was that, minor update or a fix? I think it's a fix. Sorry, I think I miscategorized that. Fixed. So that's a fix, not a minor update. GRC Advanced Audit. What a great application. Enhanced security on observation, auditable unit tables by introducing range queries and some security defect fixes. They're calling it a patch release. So we'll go with minor update. Oh, I just saw your update, Jerry. School is next Tuesday. Okay, cool. School here, I live on my street. There's an elementary school. It started on Monday. And I believe the city school started last week here. So what that means here, and it's probably the same for you, Jerry, is there's more traffic now, and there's less kids. Well, there's never really a lot of kids outside anymore, but if there was any, they're not outside anymore. They're in school. So cool. Well, I hope Justin's excited about school next Tuesday. So that'll be September the 2nd. He'll be in school. Okay, GRC Advanced Core. Let's see. Evidence response now can be created in one step using create new evidence task option. Evidence response is enhanced with additional data of source and context, request related list enabled and engagements. Granular feature roles introduced to leverage evidence capabilities, enhance security on evidence request, evidence response, and evidence collection detail tables by introducing range queries and fixed security issues. I'm going to go with highlight. They're calling it a minor release, but I know okay, I got to be careful what I say. I was on the risk roadmap webinar this week. I think it was this week or last week. Maybe it was on Friday. And this is one of the things they talked about. So this is public information. I can share that the evidence response was enhanced. So they were bragging about it. So I'll go ahead and highlight that one. Let's see. Jerry's off this week before he goes back and busy getting his school stuff ready. So they got to wear uniforms. Is that a private school or a public school? I had to wear uniforms up until 8th grade, and then high school I didn't have to wear uniforms. But that was kind of nice because I didn't have to think about what to wear. Versus once I got to high school, like I had to have like coordinated outfits, and I'm colorblind, so coordinated. Use that word loosely. Let's see. GRC Advanced Risk Project Assessment Grid. Just to make sure this isn't a repeat. Yeah. Gain efficient control over risk assessments with the new grid-based risk and control self-assessment. Quickly compare, edit, and prioritize risk and controls using the flexible spreadsheet style interface. Okay, I want to check that out. That sounds pretty cool. Entity-based access enhancement. EBA is now automatically applied at the time of record insertion. Previously, users had to manually update records using the bulk update utility. And then a bunch of fixes. Okay, so first of all, this is going to be a highlight, but I also need to add this to my video candidate ideas. So I'm just going to go click the video candidate button and come back. That basically what that button does is it puts it on my idea list in the platform, so that when I'm looking for scheduling or planning content, it'll show up there as something I thought was a potential idea to do a video on. GRC audit management, implemented range queries like we saw before, continuous monitoring of the EBA configurations now enabled, and then engagement issues, security system fixes. We're going to call that a minor update. What's going on in the audit management workspace? New lightweight audit management has been introduced to offer core capabilities of engagement, entity scoping, activities, and evidence when advanced core is installed. Yeah, I learned this with my senior technical consultant. We were working on the audit management, and she was like, I don't see evidence. I don't see tables for evidence. I'm like, why not? We should install the audit app. And apparently you have to install this advanced core. And a lighter version of the homepage. Granular feature roles introduced to leverage lightweight audit capabilities. Test steps introduced to perform control testing at a more structured and granular level. Added data visualization to show engagements and plans by state. Some fixes, and they removed the tasks section from the audit manager and audit user homepages. All right, so we're going to go with a highlight for that one. And business continuity management core, one of my favorite apps. Yes, we got updated release notes, and they are generate reports in Microsoft Word using document designer, provide predefined Microsoft. Okay, I want to mess with that. Avoid duplicate event tasks by grouping similar event tasks, manage action items for ad hoc tasks and threat assessments, and revert an archive business impact analysis or business continuity plan to a draft state, and optimize the crisis map to handle over 10,000 resources and 1,000 alerts. We're going to go with highlight on that one. I think that's significant. Business continuity planning. Same basic stuff, so we'll give it a highlight. If someone's just looking at particular ones. Business impact analysis, same thing. We'll call it a highlight. And common workspace elements across GRC, and a bunch of fixes. So we'll just classify that as a fix. Compliance case management. Implemented smart assessment. Oh, he's in public school. So public school has uniforms. There was a series on Netflix that was quite disturbing. I have to say, it was called Adolescence, and I did pick up on the fact that they were all. Were they wearing uniforms, or they were all just? I think they were wearing uniforms. Like, all were like they were nice clothes. They were. I'm pretty sure they were uniforms, but yeah, if you haven't checked out that series, and you want to understand social media's social media and like culture influence on young adolescents, I guess it's a little disturbing. Justin shouldn't watch that, Jerry. I think he's too young, in my opinion. Not that I'm a dad or anything. Okay, implemented smart assessment changes to compliance case assessments and fixed issues related to access permissions. All right, so we'll call that a minor update, even though it has a smart assessment stuff in there, because I like smart assessment engine. The compliance management workspace improved user experience. Card containers with rounded corners and drop shadows are implemented to enhance the user experience of widgets on home pages. The gray background has been removed from home pages to improve the user experience. And some fixes, and they removed the task sections from the home. What? They removed the task section? Huh. I mean, there's a tasks like on the left-hand menu, but I'm surprised they removed it from the homepage. GRC compliance UCF. Let's see. Fix. It's a fix. Resolved resource contention issues. Fix. Continuous authorization and monitoring, or CAM. Enhanced security on authorization boundary, package, acceptance task, milestone task. We'll call this a minor update for that one. And there's another CAM coming up. What is this? The CAM workspace. Yes. And that loads in the new interface. I don't know. You're seeing it now, like how it's switching between the old store and the new store. CAM overlays new capability has been introduced to perform various operations. I'm just going to make sure, we're going to go back a version and make sure that, yeah, they did update the release notes. Aging of a package across different steps can now be tracked on CAM homepage. Authorization package being reauthorization by automated engagement. Authorization documents, new tab, has a reporting capability, system properties page. OSCAL import, user experience, capabilities. Okay, we're going to call this a highlight. There's a lot going on there. I'm not as familiar with the CAM app. I haven't got to really implement that for anybody. But is that the one that, I think that might be the one that has, so I have a customer who's doing NIST 853 compliance, and we found that I think it's this application that has that content, so we don't have to, if we're not importing it from UCF. So I thought that was interesting. Okay. Squirrels, Justin. Stay away from the squirrels. GRC crisis management. Avoid duplicate event tasks by grouping and manage action items. Okay, we're going to call that a minor update. The crisis map, which we saw had that 10,000 resources and 1,000 alerts. So same thing there. Patch release, they're calling it. I don't have patch categories, so I do a minor update. Cyber Risk Institute Profile Accelerator. Let's check that one out. Change smart assessment updates for CRI and tiering assessments to support the introduction of a new reference field called purpose. And we'll just make sure that the release notes actually changed. Yes, they did. Okay, so we'll go with minor update. Entity-based access, or EBA, for GRC. That's a lot of updates. Yokohama patch 6. Okay, so that's the only updates I got. Continuous maintenance of access restrictions on entities related record types. Support for enabling entity-based access on custom tables. Changed entity access update utility experience from record page to guided assistance. Apply entity-based access restrictions at the record level by using guided assistance in the bulk access update utility, and some fixes. All right, we'll go with the highlight on that one, even though I don't really understand what it is, what's going on. GRC metrics. Enable organizations to provide estimated data using predefined methods like average when actual data is not available, and replace it with actuals when available. enhance data accuracy and governance by adding a review process for automated metric definitions. They're calling that a major release. I'm going to go with minor update based on what I just read. Again, this is all subjective. The only thing that's really kind of hard and fast is the new releases. Like I can tell when there's a new release. Leverage the enhanced capabilities of the common service data model for improved operational resilience. Perform smart assessments when evaluating the importance and impact. Use the enhanced DORA capabilities in the operational resilience workspace. And track and third-party risk assessments as red flags in operational resilience reports and overview pages of the business services, service offerings, and business processes. We'll go with highlight on that one. GRC policy and compliance management. Oh my goodness, lots and lots of fixes. Look at all those fixes. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Let's see. Policy exception extension approval using GRC approval configurator. Policy exception approval using, is that the same thing? Oh no, extension versus the exception. Feature role supported on policy and compliance management tables. Automated application of entity-based access. Okay, we're gonna go with minor release or minor update on that one. Predictive intelligence is what's next. Fixed an issue with remediation task recommendation due to invalid something. So we'll call that a fix. Privacy case management. Existing privacy case landing page module is removed. And a new tab is added on the privacy landing page to see case management metrics. Okay, minor update. Privacy management itself. Let's see what happened in there. Oversee all aspects of privacy management comprehensively through a unified view using an enhanced dashboard. See the processing activity in a vertical layout for improved readability and easier grouping. Classify data subjects to select and define multiple data subject types. New screening and privacy impact assessment templates. And fix some issues related to access permissions. I'm going to call it a highlight. GRC profiles, fixes, a bunch of fixes. Cool. GRC regulatory change management. GR fixes, a welcome update. Yeah, John, I agree. Especially that number of fixes. That was a lot. Regulatory change management, new multiple regulatory tasks per alert. Regulatory alerts can now include multiple regulatory tasks, allowing teams to assign responsibilities and track progress. I thought you could do that already. I remember creating, like you can ad hoc create as many tasks as you wanted to. Wonder why. Okay. Anyways, source document import task, multiple source document import tasks can link to single alert. Okay, that is new. Regulatory task workflow updates. Task progress through new work in progress, implementation optional, awaiting approval. Completed states. Task can now be closed manually during implementation if all action tasks are complete, providing flexibility. And action task management can be created when regulatory tasks are a new work in progress or implementation states. You know, this is a big one. It was so confusing when I'm training people and they're working with those regulatory alerts of like, why can't I create a task? I'm like, you got to move it into the whatever state it used to be. So that's a welcome change there. It says minor release. I'm going to call it a highlight for that one for those reg change people. Risk heat map. Oh, I love the risk heat map. Fix the heat map reflow issues when scaling content in higher zoom scenarios up to 400%. Okay, so not only did they fix that, there was an issue where the heat map, when you brought it up, it would just slowly like kind of expand to the right and just keep expanding and expanding. And it was like slow enough that, you know, you had to sit there and watch it. That got fixed too. I don't know if it's related to this fix, but it wasn't a reflow issue because we weren't zooming in. But anyways, I digress. GRC risk management. Let's see. Entity-based access. Populated the run as user field and removed deprecated actions. Okay, so we'll call that a minor update. The risk workspace. Entity-wise risk profile matrix. Access and analyze the risk posture of your organization using entity-related data such as risk, controls, key risk indicators, and events in a centralized configurable grid-based view. Well, that's something I want to check out. Project assessment grid. We saw that earlier with the RCSA. Change, address the defect where assessors were able to delete risk response task in the risk assessment component, even without having the GRC manager role. Task-related widgets have been renamed from the home pages to enhance load times, have been removed from the home pages. Okay, so that's what that's about, to enhance load times. Users can now access all their assigned tasks and group tasks directly on the task page for better visibility. Updated the navigation flow for classic risk assessments in Workspace. Previously, clicking on classic risk assessment would take users directly to the assessment. With this change, users are first taken to the assessment record where they can click on action to open the assessment. And a bunch of fixes. There you go, John. More fixes. Left your comment on the screen. Sorry about that. I'm going to go with highlight on this one, and we're actually going to make this a video candidate like we did that other one. Not that it will become a video, but I'm interested in that entity-wise thing that we read off there. All right, GRC risk shared common components, added new APIs to support directed graph ops, and a bunch of fixes. So we'll go with minor update on this one since it's not all fixes. GRC SIG questionnaire integration. SIG stands for Standard Information Gathering, if you're new to that terminology. And 2025 SIG assessment templates based on Smart Assessment Engine have been added. That's sweet. The Smart Assessment Engine is so much nicer than the old one. So that's a minor release. I'm going to go with a highlight, even though it says minor, because that's, if you're using a SIG, that's a big deal. GRC technology controls a monitoring accelerator fixed after installing. Okay, there's a fix. Fix. Vendor management workspace. What happened in that workspace? Ooh. Has been updated to work with Smart Assessment Engine, facilitating creating, editing, and viewing assessment in the Smart Assessment Engine, which has its own workspace, by the way. Global TPRM changes. TPRM is third-party risk management. If you're not familiar with that acronym, assessments and third-party assessments are now renamed as external assessments. Tiering assessments are now renamed as internal assessments. Oh, thank goodness. Trying to explain to people that tiering was something that happens internally. I was just like talking to a wall with people and they'd be like, so that's going to go to the vendor, right? I'm like, no, it's internal. Like you're deciding what assessments are going to be sent to the vendor by doing the tiering assessment, but right over their heads. The tier level column is now renamed as risk rating. Oh, interesting. The tiering assessors column is now renamed as respondents. The owner field is now renamed as assigned to on the internal assessment, external assessment, tiering assessment, and due diligence. Okay, this is definitely going to be a highlight. Changes made to the list view and vendor management workspace. Assessment setup section has been added. Questionnaire request section has been added. Tiering assessment and inherent risk questionnaires are combined in the internal assessment section. Changes made to internal assessment pages. Tier level scales are renamed as scales. Tiering assessment schedule and schedules are combined and renamed as assessment schedule. And related lists were changes. So fourth party questionnaires, repeating assessments, document requests, and questionnaire templates. Wow, lots going on in the TPRM or vendor risk management workspace. I said highlight, I think. Yeah. Okay. Group life servicing. Back to the financial stuff here. What's going on? Change included additional transactions. Oh, this was a common, when I went through all the finance apps, that was a common update. This was what I was referring to at the beginning, like stuff is being planned for Q4 already. In this case, support localization in Q4 within this application. So that will go into the minor update bucket. It's probably going to be the same for underwriting. Version summary. Yep, same update, minor update. Guest walk-up experience for customer service management or customer service. Defect fixes. Yay, defect fixes. Let's see. Let's make sure. Those are, look, see, these are repeated release notes. It drives me nuts. They've just left these release notes, defect fixes in. So there, I don't know. I'm just going to go with compatibility since it's a new version, but technically it's release note fail. Guided decisions, minor defect fixes for this release. We'll check that that's the case. Yes, defect fixes. Guided decisions, guidance. Just realized I want to test something. I'm testing the chat from YouTube. Yeah, it actually worked. Okay. Usually I have a YouTube comment or two by this time, about 30 minutes in, and I didn't see anything, so I just want to make sure. I know these are boring, so I'm not expecting people to really pay attention to these. So enhance the guidance framework to enable knowledge guidance with access indicator and dynamic primary call to action. Enhance the guidance to knowledge article guidance action on voice interactions, and made minor defect fixes. All right, we're going to go with a minor update. Did I check the versions on that? I think I did. Yeah. All right, minor update for that one. And it looks like we have more guided decisions experience version, minor defect fixes. Let's just make sure. Yes, lots of defect fixes. Guided self-service and employee center. Updated to support the latest version of the dependent apps. So that's a compatibility update, essentially. Yeah, compatibility update for that one. Thanks, Certain591 is still watching. Appreciate that. Did you see me eat the chocolate earlier, Certain591? I don't know. I have one piece left. I'm gonna do that. We didn't see the goo when I did it, so I'm gonna say this is a goo bite. Okay, the goo does not look like the goo. It's interesting. The goo looks yellow orangish on here, and it's like white. Let's put that in front of the light. It's like white on there, so it's white goo. Okay, that's my sugar allotment for the day. I forgot I can't talk after I put one of these in my mouth. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely not as eventful as the chips. I agree. Sorry. Time for tea. All right. Guided setup, release notes. Let's make sure. Yep, they actually changed them. Enable domain set for guided setup. Enhance guided setups with improved nav experience. Ability to embed workspace pages in the guided setup. Assignment of tasks at runtime. Ability to set guided setup tasks or steps as mandatory, and add steps, add tasks to the guided setup player. I'm going to go with highlight. Those look like significant enhancements that people might be interested in. Guidewire spoke. New added data stream and other integration hub apps dependency. I saw this on a couple other ones too, so I'm going to go with minor update on that one. We're just updating dependencies, that's all. Spicy chocolate. Now that is a good idea, spicy chocolate. There is one here in Asheville. Oh, what was it? French Broad Chocolate Factory. I think French Broad River or French Broad Chocolate Factory, I think. And they make a spicy chocolate. I should get that one. It was good. I used to eat that one all the time. Jerry loves the goo, the white goo. It was not the orange or yellow goo from the wrapper. And you need to try the egg-shaped ones, way more gooey. Okay, thanks, John. That's the ones I've seen on TV, and yeah, I've never tried those. Yeah, so so shortbread will be next week, and then I gotta procure the next snack, and I'm gonna actually spicy chocolate. I'm writing this down. See, I'm still analog in some ways, despite all the technology in my life. Spicy chocolate. And it could be a good plug for a local chocolatier. Maybe I should set up a PO box and like have people know, because then I might get sick and die of like. Not that Jerry was trying to poison me, but I don't know. Once you open that door, it's hard to close. Okay, release notes for what version? What app is this? Hardware asset management. One of my few certifications is in hardware asset management. Randomly, it's actually an interesting story. They were developing the certification and they called out to partners to test it out, and I was like, sure, I could use a cert. And so, Certain591, you mentioned that the last time to dip the shortbreads into chocolate. So you know what I'll do? I still have the Milka bar. It's over there on my left. So what I could do is before the live stream next week, put that on like a candle warmer, let it melt, and then next week when I eat the shortbread, I can try the shortbread and like alone, and then I can try dipping it into the Milka bar. That was a good chocolate bar, Jerry. The Milka one was one of my favorites. You don't have to send over more food, Jerry. You've already done way too much. You're super kind. And now he's lolling. He's laughing. Okay. Benefit from enhanced asset attestation features, including a guided attestation creation process, a mobile-friendly interface for confirming assets, and automated remediation tasks to address non-compliant assets. This alone sounds cool to me because I remember in the past, not necessarily computer assets I wasn't responsible for, but I was responsible for phones and pagers, believe it or not. And what happens in like organizations is people will be like, I need a phone or I need I worked at a hospital. I need a phone or I need a pager. And then like a year goes by and that thing is sitting in a drawer, no one's using it, and yet you're still paying a bill. You're paying a monthly bill for service for it. This seems interesting to me to address that. Achieve real-time tracking of assets that are in transit and maintain asset data accuracy. Receive shipment assets at a stock room from any workflow. Track asset movement from the receiving bay to an aisle and space in the stockroom using the asset put away task, and evaluate how effectively your assets are functioning and being used to reports based on asset key performance. Okay, this I want to be a highlight. Let's just make sure, yeah, the release notes actually changed. We'll go with highlights. This looks interesting. And okay, what do we got next? Health and safety case management. Minor ACL updates. I mentioned this on the last live stream. There's a bunch of security ACL updates on these apps where essentially they're putting deny ACLs on tables. Was that a fix or was that an update? Sorry, I was talking change, so it's a minor update. So yeah, a lot of the apps product teams have been putting these deny ACLs to prevent access to CRUD operations: create, read, update, and delete. Fixed an issue with the description field being mandatory on body parts and injury records. Okay, so and whenever you have to talk about body parts in a live stream, I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna giggle. Okay, so that's a fix. Health and safety contractor management. Version summary, fixed minor ACL updates, improved process for adding contractor workers. And we'll just check that. Yes, the release notes should change. Was that a fix? I've already forgot. Fix, yes. Ooh, it left my little box open. Health and safety core. Replace the landing page dashboard with the following tabs: highlights, incident, and risk management. Change the dashboard filters to align with the WSD workplace service delivery location model and include a date range filter. We'll go with minor update on that one. That's a big interface change. Health and safety incident management. Ooh, new conversational incident reporting using Now Assist AI on the Employee Center. Additional incident management capabilities to Agent mobile app and a bunch of fixes. So let's go highlight. This looks like a significant enhancement if someone's just able to report an incident using natural language. Health and safety incident management OSHA content pack. Minor ACL updates. Yep, so we'll go with minor update. Health and safety incident management performance analytics content pack. Updated indicators to support the new health and safety dashboard for health and safety incident management and health and safety risk management applications. All right, let's check the previous version. Yes, so is a minor update. Health and safety risk management app. Fixes accessibility button focus issue. HTML code displayed on Loto description on permits to work. Okay, good. They did update, and new button not shown on people involved section and observations. So that's fixes. Let's refresh this. Ooh, we're about to go under 500 apps left. Oh my God, I'm so excited. This is so tedious. Minor ACL updates. Let's see. Yep, so that was that. Minor update. Healthcare and life sciences management core. Moved CSM playbooks from HCLS core to pre-visit management and then a bunch of fixes. So we'll go minor update as long as, yep, it did change the release notes. Healthcare operations core is what's next. Change minor enhancements were made to UI actions, UI policies, and client scripts in support of the new care team operations for facilities and care team operations for environmental services applications. I feel like I'm back in the hospital. Okay, so minor update for that one. Hiring connector provides the integration spoke and the import set to import from a third-party system into ServiceNow for use with other hiring applications. Okay, is that really the release notes? I guess so. Provides the integrate. Okay, we'll go with minor update. Hiring core. Supporting data model for hiring functionalities. Okay, minor update. Hiring tab. Hiring tab is an app. Create job requisitions, track job requisitions, track and manage apps, collaborate with the recruiter, and view hiring content. Okay, we'll call that a highlight, but let's make sure. Yes, there was a change. Okay, so we'll highlight that one. HR multi-instance integration for consumer. ability to connect with the provider instance, ability to subscribe, activate, enable remote record producers, admins read write provider tasks, ability for admins to configure access controls, contain user roles for access controls and sensitive data and processes, ability for admins to configure pre-approval flows, ability for employees to submit and track. Okay, we're gonna go with highlights as long as I can see. Ooh, is this a new app? HRSD professional, HR multi-instance. Okay, I'm still thinking highlight, but I just want to see, is this a new app? No, there was a version 1 back in January of this year, so it is not a new app. So we'll go with highlight for this one. That was the consumer side. The provider side probably is going to be similar. If yeah, same thing. And it's only available in Zurich. HR service delivery integration with Workday version. Okay, problem fixes. So these are fixes. 340. Yeah, so these are more fixes on July 31st. HR service delivery virtual agent conversations. Fix minor bug fixes. Few defects are addressed in the previous one, so they're just fixing bugs. Bug fixing. Human resources service delivery integration with Workday Learning. New, introduced a dual path skill resolution mechanism. Enhance the process skills function. Ensure that all relevant skills, whether matched as a fix. Limit the limitation of relying. Can we go with minor update? But let's make sure we're not reading old release notes, and we're not. Ooh, IBM license compliance for software asset management. Sounds riveting. Fixed minor defects related to IBM reconciliation. Okay. And that's all I got. So, oh wait, fixed recon issue related to ILMT. Okay, so it is fix. ICW mobile. What does ICW stand for? Industrial work. Key features. Industrial guided tasks. ICW. What does ICW mean? Huh. I don't know what ICW means. Added parity for all features released in the Digital Factory Workspace, industrial standards, and industrial guided tasks that are part of the August 25 release. Various improvements regarding deviation management, knowledge management, and action management. Interesting. So this is an Innovation Lab app. So it's, I'm just going to go docs.servicenow.com. What is ICW? So that didn't reveal anything. ICW mobile. I don't know what this is. Okay. Sorry. Squirrel. Some minor update for that one. Oh, Impact was updated. Is anybody actually a customer that has Impact? Curious. When I was a customer, Impact didn't exist, so I have no idea what it is. I mean, I know what it is, but I have no idea if it's value add or not. Okay. Automated registration to seamlessly onboard customers, introduce value reports, refactoring recommendations to reduce noise, consumption report for feature parity. Oh, certain not 591. Thank you. Industrial Connected Workforce is what ICW stands for. Thank you. Do I have, let's see. Here we go. This should have been way better timing on this, but thank you, 3591. Appreciate that. The looping feature is turned on, so it's just going to keep clapping over and over again. Appreciate that. Improvements to the homepage. Jerry has Impact. Cool. Jerry, I'm curious, is it like, are they helping you with, which is the guided version, are they helping you actually with the governance or usage of the application of the platform? Like, are you seeing a benefit from the Impact? You don't have to publicly state that, but that's what I was curious about. Especially if it's not, you don't necessarily want to get either of us in trouble with the ServiceNow gods, if they exist. Improvements to homepage functionality for IIP parity with IDI and impact SPM integration enhancement. I'm going to go with highlight for this one. Let's just check an older version. Yeah, so definitely some changes to impact here. So we'll go highlight. That's the main impact application. Impact common, same thing. So we'll go with highlight, I guess. I hope they're all going to be the same. If they are, okay, now I'm just going to go with compatibility update. And because if you've seen the first two, they're all the same. Localization support for a few languages. You know, you couldn't tell us which languages, just a few. Sorry, just laziness. Minor update. Impact value management ITSM. Let's see. Experience platform analytics dashboard. Accessible via platform analytics. Dashboard designed to enhance. Okay, so it's basically a new dashboard. Minor update. Got an update from Jerry here. Let's throw it on the screen. They have accelerators that we can use when we want to learn more about new capabilities. So that's nice. One that comes up a lot for me is people wanting to learn more about Employee Center. It can help with looking to maximize the value with our current usage. Yeah, and also are you like some things that people don't know exist? What was the one in ITSM? Outages in ITSM, and having that kind of outage display in the portal. That's one where we used to uncover for people, but that's pretty cool. It's a lot. It's a big platform, so there's a lot to keep track of. Incident communications management for service operations workspace. No changes. So this will be, notice that how they're versioning it, but there's no changes. So it's a compatibility update, essentially, for that one. 8.0. If we were to go to the service operations workspace stuff, let's go down to 400 here. I'm going to work our way backwards. We should see like version 8 or something like that. ServiceNow. Service operations workspace, ITSM admin center, applications. Notice the versions are around 8. So they're just keeping the versions up, essentially, is what they're doing. All right. Individual life servicing. The financial app included additional translations to support localization for Q4. So that's another, we're seeing that one. Minor update. Individual life underwriting, probably the same thing. Yep. Localization. Got another update from Jerry here. Throw that on the screen. He has a customer success manager that he can discuss our roadmap. Well, that's cool too. So many people or so many platform owners kind of get the implementation done, and then they go into maintenance mode and never really kind of focus on a true roadmap. So that's cool to hear that they're helping you with the roadmap. Did they do it in Excel or PowerPoint or a Miro board or something? Indoor mapping, introduced ability to bulk upload and process AutoCAD and PNG files to automate file updates, and added a new ACL for read-only access to indoor mapping table and fix some translation issues. Did it all in one breath. Okay, we'll go with minor update. Indoor mapping component, probably going to be the same release notes. Fixes. There were fixes. Okay, indoor mapping service. See release notes for indoor mapping 1.14.1. So we'll go with compatibility update. Industrial core, back to the industrial stuff. Wow. Industrial core plugin contains the following features. Well, I don't want features. I want what's new. OT class mapping template, OT. Okay, I'm just going to go with minor update. Device connection. Sorry, I'm reading through this real quick. So it's replacing a template script-based approach. Network connection, backup job execution. I'm on the fence. Minor update or highlight. I'm going to go highlight because I don't understand it. And so I'm going to default to this might be important to people who are using it. I'm not really well versed or well educated in the operational technology space. So we'll just go with highlight and cite my ignorance if it's not really that big of a deal. For this one, filter out not in use and retired equipment models in the equipment model manager, then just favorite child equipment. Use the processing order, daily activity tab, change. Okay, this one I'm going to go minor update on this one. Yeah, minor update. Industrial workspace common. Oh my God, we have 5 minutes left. Wow, that time went by fast. Assign processing order value in the equipment model, OT vulnerability frames. I'm going to go again with a highlight on this one, just because I'm not as familiar, but it looks like some significant stuff happening. And then we got a time. Can we get through the eyes? No, we're not going to get through the eyes. Let's try insurance claims. Fixed unexpected continue and back buttons visible on collect inbound documents. Okay, definitely a fix. Yep, fix for that one. Insurance claims core. Change included additional translations. Yeah, we saw this one. Support localization in Q4. Insurance special investigations. Okay, certain 591 has a question. Could your crawler pull in release notes with Q4, then can filter on that? Yes. It's so funny, certain 591. I have so many changes I want to make to my crawler that in between weekly episodes, I'll have these fits and starts, and then I'll hit a problem, not a problem, but I'll hit like a something doesn't work quite like I expected, or I have to go learn something in order to figure out what I want it to do. And the level of effort then exceeds the small amount of time I had before the next episode. So I've like made all these starts of improvement. And then I'll show you another one too that drives me crazy. If I go and open an application, I have a version history, right? Notice at some point in 2024 or 2025, I stopped capturing the release notes. Even though the release notes were here, they were being concatenated. So it wasn't that helpful, but at least it was enough that I could see visually, oh, they just left the same release notes in there. So it made it easier to curate. Stuff like that, these enhancements I want to make. So yes, the crawler definitely could. The crawler runs on ServiceNow. So anything that ServiceNow can do, the crawler can do. So yeah, one day we'll have the time to get all those enhancements in. Okay, insurance special investigations of Q4 stuff, minor update. Yeah, and you're right too. If I notice some common release notes, I could, in theory, bulk process these really quickly. Yeah. One of the things that I'm kind of on the fence about is you're probably seeing this as a very manual process, right? Of going through all these. And in my old job, when I was a solutions consultant or a solutions engineer, my job was really to listen to customers and understand what they're trying to do and put together a solution for them, like propose, like, hey, use these things. And so I found it really critical to like physically go in and look at every single one of these, even when it was repetitive, because it was reinforcing in my brain what these apps are, what their purpose is, what recently has changed. It isn't anything that I could like sit in a meeting and like spew out. Not It's not that kind of knowledge, but it is kind of a hey, I've seen that before. I know it's used for this kind of thing, so that when I'm meeting with customers, I can quickly get to it. Now, I haven't done that role in about a year. In fact, I did this past like last week. I did a little bit of that for a company. But yeah, I like, even though it's rote and manual, I like going through this to kind of educate myself. For this one, added transaction information for external content connectors and orchestration under the transactions by type chart. Okay, we'll call that a minor update. Yep, minor update for that one. Intelligent servicing for fraud. Oh, we got a minute left. So this will be the last one. Intelligent servicing for fraud. There's those deny ACLs I mentioned earlier, and they fixed something. So we will make that a minor update. And let's see where we landed. I think it was this right here. Yep, that's right there. And then we'll group by category. Oh, that's just highlights. I don't want the highlights. And then group by category. So where we left off, I think I'm under 500 or maybe close to it. But so 144 compatibility, 74 fixes, 3 ghosts, 67 highlights, 167 minor updates, 472 not screened. So I'm making some progress, or we are, and 1 release note fail. So that was fun. Weekends tend to have the etch a sketch shake method. Yeah. And I don't know how much I want to share on the live stream. Some things have changed in my personal life, and it there was a lot of time in my personal life that I would be around my office and be able to like get things done, and that time is no longer there in a good way, not in a negative way. I mean, that's kind of negative, but so my like the time that I was doing stuff has kind of disappeared from my like 24 hours in a day. But I'm figuring it out. I'm trying to get realigned and get more productive than I was. September, hopefully, you'll see a change in my output. But that's today's live stream. Hopefully, I don't have to do another one of these. Maybe I can get to the 472 before next Wednesday. But I appreciate you guys sticking around. Let's see. The video is going to come up. There's a QR code if you want my socials, which I'm not posting to right now, but they're there. You can follow me. That QR code there's also a banner or a thing about Null Edge conference coming in October. If you haven't signed up for that already, go check it out. It's just a one-day conference that's about ServiceNow, but not by ServiceNow. So I'm actually excited about that. And I should be here next week, barring any unforeseen issues. Monday's a holiday for us, but the live stream's on Wednesday, so it should be fine. And that's it. I guess I'll wrap it there. And thank you guys for watching me eat chocolate. And if you have ideas about future food, throw them in the comments. I'll see the comments if you add them. Right now on my list, I have spicy chocolate, which I will procure for not next week's live stream, but the week after next. And with that, we will move to the video and I will stop talking. Thanks, guys. See you soon.